Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the second stimulus package, the stimulus package that never was. Now, if everyone remembers, back when the pandemic started, the government got together pretty quickly, the Republicans and Democrats, to pass the first stimulus package because they realized that they were stopping people from working and they didn't want the economy to totally crash. So they got together and passed the first stimulus package with the goal of passing a second one not long after the first one. So the first stimulus package had a lot of things in it that both parties didn't like, but it was passed. Now when we get to the second one, the Democrats, and I think this was to try to get the Republicans to look bad, passed a stimulus package that was horrendous in the money that it spent and some of the things it wanted. One of the things in it that was particularly abhorrent to the Republicans was bailing out the state governments. Now, many of these state governments had been misusing funds for decades. States like New York have been misusing funds for forever, basically. And the Republicans balked at people from states that weren't New York paying for New York's bad fiscal management. And I agree with that. So the Republicans told the Democrats that the new bill was going to be dead on arrival. Now, the Democrats did their bill pretty quickly after the first bill. The Republicans said, nope, we're not going to pass it. But the problem with the Republicans' response was they did nothing about it. They sat on their hands. They didn't come out with a counter-proposal. So time just continued to go on. Pelosi blaming the Republicans, McConnell blaming the Democrats, and it went on until right before the August recess and right before the unemployment bonus was going to run out. And they tried to get together again. The Republicans finally got up off their asses and came up with a stimulus plan. Now, the stimulus plan was so much smaller than the Democratic plan that the Democrats said, well, that's going to be dead on arrival. We can't pass that. The Democrats didn't move, though. They had a counterproposal that was basically just as bad as their first proposal. So the Republicans and Democrats blamed each other, said, you're both hurting the American people, and nothing happened. Now, Trump stepped in to his credit. He said, well, we have funds here that I can transfer over for people for a little bridge so they can get some unemployment, bonus unemployment, so they can pay their bills. Trump did do that. Trump passed, well, didn't pass a bill, it was an executive order giving money to those on unemployment, like $300 a week instead of the $600 that people were getting, but it was still something. And that was with the goal of getting people to the next package. Well, time goes on again, and the Democrats budge a little bit, but they won't budge on giving money to state and local governments. The Republicans actually come out with a even smaller stimulus package that doesn't have the $1,200 payments in it. And they both blame each other again. It's the Republicans say it's Pelosi's fault. Pelosi says it's all the Republicans that are stingy Scrooges. And on it goes, and they don't come to an agreement. And basically, now most of the provisions are going to run out. Student loan deferment, not being able to kick people out of their apartments. Most of the provisions that were holding families up are going to expire. And there's only 14 days to the election now, and Pelosi just said that we can't come to an agreement, so it's not going to happen until after the election. For a lot of people, if it's after the election, it's going to be too late. They're going to be so behind, kicked out of their apartments. It's going to be too late for businesses because the small business loans are not getting renewed. So basically, the Republicans and the Democrats screwed the American people. They closed everything and couldn't come to an agreement on how to help them. And it was basically for political reasons. The Democrats think that it's helping them to blame the Republicans for people's problems, and the Republicans think it's helping them to blame the Democrats for people's problems, when in reality, people just want help. They want help to get out of the pandemic, and it's helping no one. So basically, this is a pox on both their houses and a picture into how dysfunctional our government is right now. We basically can't do anything because the two sides are so far apart on almost every issue, and they won't compromise, that we have a non-functioning legislative branch. Now, things are still being done by Trump. A lot of the things he's doing are by executive order, but it's just a mess. And that's about all. Remember, never to believe anybody's propaganda, not even your own. Thanks. Bye-bye.